Welcome to this training. Since you are listening to this presentation, we know you think this is important. So we hope that by the end, you feel more confident and able to start talking to your kids about how to keep their body safe. At around 8 years old, kids start to see themselves as separate from their parents, but they still look to adults to guide their actions. By this age, though, they need to know that they have authority over what happens to their body. So in this training, we'd give you suggestions on how to do that. You can start teaching your kids about body safety by using a set of rules called the touching rules. Then talk to them about safe and unsafe touch. If they know that unsafe touches are not okay and that you want to know if anyone gives them an unsafe touch, it's more likely that they'll tell you about it if it happens. You can then teach them the difference between secrets, surprises, and personal information. Abusers rely on kids keeping secrets, so you want to nip it in the bud as early as you can by having a no-secrets household. It's also useful to help them come up with a list of trusted adults. And finally, but not least, we'll talk about a safety plan called No Go Tell. Before we start with the first item in our agenda, let's go over a couple of body safety concepts: personal bubbles and private parts. Tell your kids that everyone has a space around them to help keep them safe, and we call that space a personal bubble. You can show your kids that a safe bubble is the size of the space created when they extend their arms to their sides like the letter T. People should respect their bubbles, but they also need to respect other people's bubbles. Their bubbles change size depending on who's around them. Their bubbles will be small when they are around people they know and love, and large if they are around people they don't know, don't like, or people that make them uncomfortable. It's important to talk to them about private parts the same way you talk about other parts of their body, like their arms, their legs, and their hands. One easy way to start talking about private parts is to say that the private parts are the parts of their body covered by a swimsuit in the front and in the back. They are private because no one should touch those parts except to keep them safe and healthy. Give them examples of what that means. It's okay for the doctor to check their private parts at their annual checkup. It's also okay for an adult to check their private parts if they hurt them while riding their bike. Any other reason for touching, looking at, or taking pictures of their private parts is not okay, and you want to know about it if that happens. For example, it is not okay for an adult or older kid to help them wash in the shower because in general, kids at age 8 and older can do that themselves. It's important to teach kids the real names of the private parts: penis, vagina, breasts, bottom, just like you teach them about the elbow, the knee, the ears. Why? Because it shows that you have good communication with your child. Good communication with your child is important because your kiddo will most likely tell you if something happens. Also, if something happens and they disclose, it's important that they have the language to tell grown-ups what happened so that grown-ups can understand that what happened was abuse. Now we are ready to read the touching rules. Rule number 1. My body belongs to me. I do not have to share my body. This means that I am the boss of my body. Rule number 2. No one is allowed to make me touch their body, and I will not make anyone touch my body. Rule number 3. No one is allowed to touch my private parts except to keep me safe and healthy. Non-touching situations can also break the touching rules, like inappropriate videos or pictures that your kids may start receiving or watching. Mention to your kids that looking at pictures or videos of kids or adults with other clothes on breaks rule number 1 of the touching rules. I do not have to share my body, even in pictures. They need to know that it is not okay to forward or share any of these types of videos or pictures, even if they receive them from a friend. The kids in these pictures may need help. Tell them that you want to know if they ever receive a picture or video of a kid or an adult with other clothes on. And you also want to know if anyone, an adult or a kid, asks them to send a picture or video of themselves without their clothes on. Read the touching rules out loud with your kids every week. Place them in a space where your kids will see them every day, like the bathroom mirror or the fridge door. These rules give kids the language to protect themselves from an unsafe touch. Teach your child to say something like, "Stop, you're breaking my touching rules," whenever they are in a situation where they feel unsafe. Let's talk about item number 2 in our agenda, safe and unsafe touch. A safe touch is a touch they want, makes them feel happy, like hugs from parents or best friends. An unsafe touch is a touch that hurts them, like a punch or a kick, or a touch they don't want. A hug can be an unsafe touch if they don't want that hug. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about good touch and bad touch. We really want to stay away from good or bad because an unsafe touch may not hurt them, it may just tickle them. So a bad touch that doesn't feel bad may be confusing for kids. Safe and unsafe, on the other hand, are more specific and easier for kids to understand the difference. It's important that kids understand that they can say no even to adults. If they don't want to kiss and hug grandma, we should let them decide. It doesn't mean they can be disrespectful. You can say something like, "Come over and say hi," but it can be from far away, or it can be a high five or a fist bump. If you find that family and friends are a bit resistant to this change, you can explain to them why you're doing this. Once they understand this will help protect your kids, they will probably support you. As parents, we can model this by asking our kids if it is okay if we give them a hug or a kiss. If they say no, we should respect that. But don't worry, they'll be back for a hug in no time. Keep in mind that if they can say no to you as their parent, they'll be able to say no to others. And that is exactly what we want. Now let's talk about secrets, surprises, and personal information. Many times, we, adults, use the word secret when we really mean surprise. We are doing a disservice to our kids by doing this because abusers count on kids keeping their secrets. If kids have kept their parents' secrets before, they will likely keep this other secret as well. So let's nip it in the bud and declare our homes a no secrets household. Also, if they know they shouldn't keep secrets, it gives them an out when someone asks them to keep a secret. Kids can simply say, "I'm not allowed to keep secrets," and be done with it. Here's how you can explain the difference between a surprise and a secret. A surprise is something that we keep quiet for a short period of time, and it makes people happy, like gifts for birthdays or holidays. A secret, on the other hand, is something that we keep quiet forever, and when told, usually makes people mad or sad. Ask your kids if they know what it feels like when you keep a secret. Stomach hurts, head hurts, sweaty hands, feel nervous. Sometimes kids will talk about good secrets, but what they really mean is personal information. Personal information is something that we don't want to share with everybody, but it doesn't break the touching rules and nobody's being hurt. Here are some examples of personal information. Parents don't want their kids to share their phone password with their friends. Some kids may tell their best friends that they like a specific boy or girl in the class, but don't want other kids to know. The touching rules are not being broken, and nobody's getting hurt. We're now into the third item in our agenda, trusted adults. Kids need to know that there are other adults in their lives that can help them in case their parents or grown-ups at home are not available. Help your kids identify 5 people in their lives that can help them out, not only with an unsafe situation, but with anything they may need. Some examples of trusted adults are adults in their school, like teachers, counselors, principal, other relatives like grandparents, aunts, and uncles, maybe adult babysitters, or maybe their best friend's parents. It's best if they can write down a specific name like Mrs. Williams instead of my teacher, or Aunt Sally instead of just my aunt. Tell your kids that if something happens that makes them feel uncomfortable, they should tell a trusted adult, and that if that adult doesn't know how to help them or the unsafe situation continues, they should keep telling other trusted adults until the unsafe situation stops. Now we're at the last item in our agenda, a safety plan. Talk to your kids about what they can do if they find themselves in an uncomfortable situation. Come up with a plan that works for your family. We have a plan that we call the no-go-tell safety plan. If this doesn't work for you, you can think of something similar for your family. The first step of the plan is to say no. Kids need to know that they have the right and authority to say no to someone that is trying to give them an unsafe touch, no matter if that person is another kid or an adult. Teach your kid to say no like they mean it, to say no with confidence and authority. But, and this is very important, kids may say no and abusers may not listen, or kids may not be able to say anything at all because they are scared. Either way, it is not their fault. Please make sure you really emphasize this part to your kids. It is never, ever the kid's fault. The second step is to go. Kids are safer in groups, so if they are in an unsafe situation, they should go to where other people are. For example, if they're in the playground, go where other kids, moms, or teachers are. If they are at home, they should go to their siblings' room or to their room and lock it. If they're at a friend's house, they can go where the grown-ups are, or they can say that they don't feel well and go to the bathroom and lock themselves in until one of their grown-ups can pick them up. The third step is to tell. Kids should tell their trusted adults about an unsafe situation, even if nothing really happened. Teach them to tell the whole story: who, what, where, and when, and that they should keep telling until the unsafe touch stops. Teach them that telling someone about an unsafe situation, it's not tattling, that trusted adults really want to know about that. Also, that they won't get in trouble. This is very important for them to know. It's possible they ended up in an unsafe situation because they missed curfew or because they snuck out. If that is the case, wait until the unsafe situation is resolved before you address the misbehavior. And remember, even if they shouldn't have been where the unsafe situation happened, the unsafe touch is not their fault. Here are some things to remember. Feel comfortable talking about private parts using the anatomical names of the private parts. Declare a no secrets household. Remind kids that trusted adults want to know about unsafe touches. Kids should know they can say no to unsafe touches, no matter if that person is an adult or another kid. If kids feel unsafe at any point, they should trust their instincts and leave. It is never ever the kid's fault, no matter the situation. Let me say it again. It is never the kid's fault. So how are you feeling now? Like this? I hope not. How about like this? Excellent. I'm glad you can start the conversation about body safety with your kids. But maybe you feel more like this. If that's the case, no worries. We are a resource for all families, so please feel free to contact us by phone at 303-444-1388 or by email at info@blueskybridge.org. If you would like a copy of the touching rules, click on the computer image. You can also visit our website at blueskybridge.org by pressing the blue button. If you want to know more about Blue Sky Bridge, stay on for a short video where our Executive Director, Gina Earls, explains our work. Thank you for watching this training.
Blue Sky Bridge is a nonprofit child advocacy center accredited by the National Children's Alliance. Our mission is to foster safe communities, healing, and justice to end child abuse, right here in Boulder County. Blue Sky Bridge offers a child-friendly environment where children and their non-offending caregivers come to talk and to receive support and services when there's been an allegation of child abuse. We also work diligently throughout our community to give children a voice and to put a stop to abuse before it starts. Child abuse is a community responsibility, and partnerships are critical to our success. We're part of a multidisciplinary team whose primary focus is to address individual cases of child abuse. We partner with the Boulder County District Attorney's Office, the Department of Housing and Human Services, and all of the law enforcement agencies in Boulder County, as well as Boulder Community Health and our school districts. In every community and every neighborhood, at least 1 in 10 children are sexually abused before they turn 18. And then there are more children who experience neglect or physical or emotional abuse. They might witness domestic violence or other crimes. All children deserve a childhood free from abuse, and that is why Blue Sky Bridge's work is so important. Not only do we want to make sure that the children who come forward have effective and safe care, we also want to bring an end to child abuse so that it doesn't happen in the first place.